Most of my age mates, I'm talking of above 60 and above, are becoming relics, not because the world rejected them. It is because they refused or they stopped engaging with the world. A good number of people are buried at 90, but they actually passed at 60. I want to share with you what I titled The Secret of Never Getting Old. I've discovered something, not that it is unique to me, but it's something I am working with, I believe in, I believe also. If you decide to add it to what you are and what you do, it will help you extend not just your life into life more abundantly, but help you to remain sharper and more relevant to the present contemporary world that you live in. There is a kind of elder somewhere, maybe watching this video, who only keeps and hangs out with the people of his age. Every day, every time they meet, they come together to talk about the same complaints, the same views about the world, the same references, the same tired conclusions they have drawn, and they rehash it and rehash it and rehash it over and over again. I don't know whether you have had some time you're talking to a Gen Z or somebody much younger and you just see them, here he goes again, or here goes grandma again. Why? Because they've heard what you have said. But you see, sometimes at this age bracket and above, you have a feeling of, let me emphasize it to them, not knowing that the first time they heard you, they actually heard you. So saying it over and over and over again without knowing that you are sounding, don't want to be, let me use that word, is the reason why sometimes you discover that people get stuck in the past while the present is passing in front of them. The issue, like I said from the get-go, is not that the world has rejected you. It is because you are still refusing to engage with the world as it is right now and what it is moving into. You are still stuck in that discussion back in the day, in those days, in our days. Hear this. If you are an old man, stuck and hanging around only and always with old people, you may end up becoming a museum. But if you find an old man who surrounds himself with the youth, he becomes a movement. He becomes a bridge, a transition into another generation. So the issue is what can be done to remedy the situation at this age bracket. Stay with me and make sure you watch this video to the very end, because I'm about to share what is going to transform your life at 60 and above. Simple. Become an elder who surrounds himself with youth. Let me explain a few things that the young people bring that you need and will help you. And then you also become a blessing to them. Number one, energy. My granddaughter, superstar, like you've always heard me say, always come to me. Sometimes she comes, she sees me, I'm concentrated. Granddad, how are you? How are you? And then I continue what I'm doing. Maybe I have something, my mind is fixated on, I'm working on it. She comes, tucks my shirt, pulls me off the chair to my feet. And as she does that, it's like she pulls me back into the world, into reality, into now. And she's like, Granddad, let's dance. Granddad, you are too serious. Granddad, you are always too concentrated. Let's dance, let's flex, let's move. Then she starts to move. Let me show you the latest move. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. She begins to, say, oh yeah, do it, Granddad, you can do it. I say, no, you can learn it. Learn to learn new things. I say, I learned new things. No, learn this one. And then she forces me and we begin to dance. And sometimes as an older person, you can be so stuck on your routine every day that you need a break that transforms your life. Like what my granddaughter, superstar, brings. By the time she's through with me, I'm a bit more loosened, I'm a bit more vibrant, I talk freer, my senses are sharper, and after maybe a little rest, I go back to what I'm doing. I have a fresher mind, I have a better zeal. Sometimes when we are doing recording, when you have young people around you, I've had it sometimes when they are around me, I'm hearing like, granddad, put more so the thing is too dry. Put more you started too slow. Make the thing is not doing bis. So I will now add more bis to it. Then I add more to it. This is what having the energy of youthfulness around you does to you. It transforms you immediately than you sitting down with your bodies, your old guys who are like, you see, I'm not mocking we guys. I'm just trying to say, get young people around you. It will transform your life. Apart from steering my spirit and it will do the same for you. I'm not talking of an exploitative having youths around you so you can exploit their energy. I'll get to what you will do for them. Apart from steering my spirit, they always have a way of looking at the same thing with fresh eyes. This is a principal advantage of the youth. Why? Because if you are not careful at this age bracket, you will have this is the way we have done it before. This is the way it used to be. Our Yoruba people have a proverb. They say, that means let us do it the way it has always been done so that it can be the way it has always been. No, this is a world that is moving very fast. You have to keep up with the latest. And even if you know how to do it, even if you have been doing it from back in the days, even if you have been doing it in our own time, with fresh eyes looking at what you are doing, bring fresh life into it. I remember the story of, it's a very popular story told in various ways, so let me just tell you the version I know. There is this story of a woman who was cooking, I don't know whether it's steak, beef or something, and she has a particular way. Turkey. There was a way she has a particular way of cutting the turkey, cut off the head, cut off this. And the child said, why are you always cutting it like this? And she said, that is the way they used to cut it. And she said, who taught you that is the way they used to cut it? The mother said, grandma taught me. So one day they said the grandma came around and the granddaughter went to meet her. Grandma, why are you always cutting it like this? And the grandma said, because back then in the day, I did not have a big pot that will contain it. So I always cut this side off so that when I put it in the oven, it will fit in and it will, So you can see, you can be doing something from back in the day. That's how it has always been done. That is the way it should be done. And somebody with fresh eyes that says, why don't you do it like this? And then you just do it like that. Voila. I hope I'm correct. And you discover that, there is a simple way, more faster way, quicker way, or more effective way of doing the same thing. This is what you will get from the youth. A fresh eyes looking at what you have always been doing. That's why sometimes, when I'm doing some things or saying some things to my, maybe to not only just superstar, my granddaughter, other people, other young folk, they're like, sir, it's too dry. Sir, it's too slow. Sir, this thing is boring. This thing is very dry. It's very boring. It is because you are doing it the way you were taught to do it. Why don't we just try like this now? So why don't you just try? Even if it fails, just try. And sometimes you try it and you are like, wow. And with that, you just add to your expertise and to your experience. Try what I'm trying to say. Allow the fresh eyes of the younger people to look at what you are doing. You can learn a thing or two from it if you are not too proud. One thing I observe the youth, which I also am adding to myself every day and remind myself every day, is hunger. They have a great curiosity. What does this thing do? How does this thing work? Why is it like this? I know they steer you with these kind of questions, and they force you or make you think in ways you have not thought about by the questions they ask you. They are hungry to learn, to know. They are curious about what is this, how does this, and all the rest. And when they put this question to you, they steer your memory, they steer the historiography of your journey, they make you come up with thoughts that you never thought about while you are explaining the thing. You're learning more and more, because when you have youth around you, be ready for questions. I don't know whether you've experienced this as a grandma, a grandpa. A child asks you a question, and you are like, how can this child think like this? And sometimes I have some of my daughters who their daughters or their children ask them some question. They say, okay, let us call Pastor Daddy. They now call Pastor Daddy. Sometimes it's not even a Bible question or something. And like, what is this? Why is this like that? My mommy says she does not know. Pastor Daddy, do you know? Or Pastor Grandpa, do you know? Whoever is calling. And I'm like, hello, say who? So and so. Say my baby has a question for you. I say, that's your baby, eh? Please, I beg, eh? I want to rest. Tell her to call me later. I don't have power for her questions now. You see, they challenge your belief. Not in a wrong way to rubbish you. They just want to know. So they make you think of what you think you already thought about in a different way. And sometimes you discover that you don't really know what you said or you thought you know until the questions come. And that's why you find yourself saying, what is making this child ask this kind of question? So some of those children, when they say, so person, I say, I beg, but not now, let me rest. And sometimes if they corner me, then I am forced to think much more. So you see, youth bring hunger, they bring curiosity, they want to know the what, when, why, and how, and they want to know the way forward. So what is the use of this thing that we are doing now? A good side of what I'm trying to make you understand is this. When these questions come, you have an opportunity to mentor a new generation. And while you are at mentoring, you get fresh, you stay sharp. When a younger person listens to your story, your life gets multiplied. It does not stay stagnant. You are no longer just one man or woman who knows what you know for yourself. You become an influence that impacts the generation to come. Why? Because somebody will now live his or her life based on your explanation, based on your exposure, based on your experience. Never joke with the idea of mentoring the youth. Our people have a saying. They said, when the elders keep quiet, the young ones will eat vulture, thinking it is chicken. So when you begin to mentor them, you begin to tell them the what, when, why, and how. You begin to show them how it has always been and why it should be so in case it ought to remain so. You get more understanding. They get more understanding. You become a woman or a man who lives beyond his own generation. Without the young, our wisdom perishes with us. With the young, our wisdom becomes immortal. Which is better? Of course, the latter. An elder with young people around him is like a tree planted by the rivers of water. His leaves do not wither. Why? Because he is drawing fresh from the river of exposure and experience and impacting a new generation. May you be the elder who don't just age, but who invests, who is interested, who ensures that both the sunrise of the youth and the sunset of his age becomes a blessing to the world at large. One thing I have enjoyed from the youth is the freshness they bring and the way they make me become compliant to the world I live in right now. What I'm trying to say is, when I talk to them, I share my knowledge with them, my ideas with them, my wisdom with them, they sit down and start talking to me. I learn the new lingo from them. I learn the dance moves from them. Even some of that I can't dance it well, but it's quite from. And sometimes when I go to my granddaughter's school, and she always likes me to dress young and fresh. So I go get me my jungle jeans, the ones with this soldier kind of side pockets. Put the modern T-shirt. Put my sunglasses on. When I appear, oh, your granddad is cool. Okay, back to what I'm saying. When you do like engage with the youth, They also show you the latest tech. They show you what you have been pressing since, and you're like, I don't know what is wrong with this phone. I don't know what is it. There's nothing wrong with it. See what you press, that is why it is no longer working. You see, you get your problem solved easily. I mean, you just sit down and you're like, I don't know, this phone is not seeing where. Meanwhile, you turn down the brightness. You turn down the brightness. I don't know, this phone, every time I carry it, it don't used to ring. Before it used to ring, your hand has pressed the side button and you have reduced the volume. Huh? Sometimes they come into your life, they will say, oh, grandpa, have you seen this app? Or the teenagers, and so sometimes they are like, Pastor Daddy, let me show you this app. I say, what are you people even doing on that app? You want to know about it? Let me show you. And they begin to show you and all the rest. Sometimes I will agree with you. It doesn't make sense to me. Sometimes I'm like, oh, so something like this can be done. You say, yes, it's on, you can download it on your phone. It's on the App Store. It's on the Play Store or whatever. I said here, the elder without young people around him has no one to pour into, because pouring is what keeps the vessel fresh and not go stale. On the other hand, the young person without an elder's advice or guidance becomes energy that is not well directed. So all I am trying to say here is this: invite some young people into the circle of your life. Mentor somebody out there. The years you spent in corporate organizations, in life, in family, in marriages, in terms of what you know, you've had 40, 50 years of marriage. You see these young people just getting married. What you know, mama, can help a newly wedded couple, young lady, young man out there to say, no, this is how to navigate the times. Teach people from the scars you have earned. Some of your walk with God, the victories you have had, the battles you have won, the Goliath and the lions you have slain as along the way will be a lot of benefits to the younger people. Bring them around, share this with them so that they don't make some mistakes that you have made. Sometimes the mistakes you made, the failures you have had, the errors you have made, will go a long way to prevent them from entering into a pitfall. When you see a young man or a young woman going astray, call him back and say, look, I have been 14-year-old before. I've made this same mistake you have made. Or rather, I've applied this route before. Don't go this route. It won't help you. I remember I saw an older person talking to a younger person who was giving advice. The young man did not take it, but you don't have to force your opinion on them, but advise them. He was telling this young man that this happened when I was taking my walk. I just walked by them and it was like, what you are doing now is wrong. You will get into trouble. Don't do like that. And the young man replied this old man and said, you see those things that you are saying, those things are old people things. When I am now older, I will begin to do those things. But now allow me to enjoy my life. You see, he did not take the advice. So there is not every advice I give to the young people that they take. Sometimes we debate, but I don't go into parenting and creating situations where in future they don't allow you to come around them, or they are like, so I try to talk with them on reasonable terms, and I'm like, you don't have to take my opinion, but listen to what I have to say, then I will give you a chance to also share. So you see, this is how you work with them, and they will feel free to tell you their own mind. Why? Because when you default to parenting all the time, the young ones around you will not relate with you. Now, I'm not saying you should not parent, you should not discipline, you should not correct. That has its own place. I'm saying sometimes listen to what they are saying, even if it does not make sense even to you. You see, what you think is useless and unimportant to them. Like I told one of my daughters who had a problem with the teenage daughter, and they were going back and forth and it was becoming like a row. I said, this thing this child says he or she wants to do, it may look unimportant to you, but it is important to her. Listen to what she has to say, as long as it's not an unreasonable thing. And we solve that matter even like that. You know, sometimes why you must be there to tell these youth things, like I said, is that our people say the person that is coming from the jungle of madness is telling you don't go there. If you go there, you will see what I have seen, and I don't want you to see it because it will live with you. So you see, when you say don't go there and he decides to go, it's a different thing, but at least let him know I've been there before, see what will come out of it. advise, but don't coerce them in taking to your opinion. One more thing I will say is, let the energy of these young ones remind you that life still goes on. You know that song we used to sing in those days? I think an OG, we know this one. And the beat goes on. Bam, bam, bam. Something about, yeah, my life everlasting. I can't remember. Beat goes on, beat goes on, beat goes on. It goes on. You know that song, and the beat goes on. I can't remember the lyrics anymore. So, you see, the young people remind you that your story is not over and the chapter is not closed yet. Stop saying, I'm now old, I'm now retired, I'm now in the departure lounge, I'm now waiting for my boarding pass. All those kind of things, I don't know. You're still here. The story is still being written. You are still okay. You can still complement, add to this world. You can still be compliant with what is happening in the world today. Don't have that eyes of everything has scattered in this world. Things are not okay anymore. No, have a paradigm shift. And the way you can remain compliant and compatible in the world we are in today is to liaise with those who are building it, the young people. I close with this. I read this statement to you. You don't stay young by protecting your comfort. You stay young by embracing what is new. Number 2, wisdom without youth is rigid. Youth without wisdom is recklessness. We need each other. Stagnation, not age, is what makes people old. When you remain not pouring out what you carry, this is the reason why a lake can become stale. I close with this. The elder who pours into the youth never truly disappears. He simply multiplies. I'll see you in the next video.